Namaskar everyone. So after a long break on this YouTube channel, I am finally ready to create a few more videos. Basically, for the last month or so, I was really very busy. For 15 days, I was in an Ayurvedic retreat, and then my health problem was not solved actually. So after that, I went and stayed in the Isha Yoga Center in Coimbatore for another many days, 15, 20. I think more than that, almost a month I stayed there, and I focused a lot on my yogic practices and did some other alternative doctors I've consulted and some naturopathy stuff I'm doing. I have a physiotherapist also who's given me some exercises. So whole bunch of things was going on, and I was really busy, and I was basically not in the mind frame to give time to this YouTube channel or anything other than my health and a few other things I was working on. So finally now I am a little bit sorted, and my health is actually improving. So that is a whole different set of videos that I would like to do, but I don't know when I'll get around to it. So today when I finally, just from yesterday I am a little freer and my mind space is more available. I figured I can start the YouTube videos, and as it happens, 15th August is coming, which is the Independence Day of India, but more importantly, for this video especially, it is the Krishna Janmashtami and Kali Jayanti. Krishna Janmashtami was the most important occasion, which was mass known and mass celebrated around me. But in the last 2 years, maybe the social media algorithms and in general, the content space with regards Sanatan Dharma, spirituality has been heatening. So the news about it also being Kali Jayanti, and why it is actually very significant that Krishna Janmashtami and Kali Jayanti fall on the same day, that content has been coming about, and it has been extremely intriguing for me. And so in this video I want to talk about this very specific form which is known as Krishna-Kali, which is basically a form where Krishna and Kali are depicted as one, and it's a very very intriguing form. And in this video I am actually going to sit and research as part of the upcoming celebration and festival. I am going to research about a specific story about this Krishna-Kali form of a deity form. One of the first times I heard of this form was through somebody who basically spoke about there being two brothers. One who was like a strict Vaishnav person, and another who was a very deep Kali Bhakt. And as you can imagine, Vaishnavism tends towards more the sattvic forms, while Kali worship is a more tantric and more wild. So naturally there were clashes between these two brothers, and apparently what I heard that time is that one time they just came together and they started a debate or just very passionate discussion, and that went on for a long periods of time. And finally their both intensity, devotion, love was so great that whole discussion, a whole interaction itself led to the creation of the form of Krishna-Kali, because neither would budge, and eventually the only outcome from it was that the two forms are one. That was the only possible outcome. And so that was an extremely intriguing story for me, not only because obviously Kali and Krishna are, if we look at it from the surface, they are almost diametrically opposite kind of deities, but also the fact that in this story of these two brothers, it was like the intensity and the devotion of these humans actually led to the creation of a new deity almost, or a deity form, or the merging of the two deities happened because of the intensity of these two devotees. And that relation for me was very intriguing, because can a devotee actually impact the form of the deity? So that's what kind of was intriguing for me at that point of time. And since then I very much understand how yes, the yogis create these deities, but I can understand it from a consecration perspective, somebody who's very advanced in forms of tantra and all. But even someone who is just deeply devotional, can that person just impact the deity in such a deep way? So today I'm just going to go deeper into the story because I want to understand more. That's what I'm going to do today, and I'll be sharing information with you also as I go about it. Since the past 2 years, this particular form of Krishna-Kali is becoming a lot more popular, and the Parvati Ball Mataji is there of the Ball Sampradaya in West Bengal, and they have actually consecrated a form of Krishna-Kali in their ashram, and that particular form is gaining importance, and I think it makes sense considering that Krishna is already a massively popular deity. For Krishna-Kali also to become popular in the psyche of people, especially with the rise of Ugra Devtas, it is making a lot of sense to me, and probably from there on my own love for this particular form is also coming about. So let's get into the story of these two brothers. So Krishnananda Bhattacharya is somebody who has existed in the year around 1533 is what Wikipedia says, at a place called Nabad Dweep. What is Nabad Dweep? It's a city at Nabad Dweep, which is also the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I did not know of this place, which I am surprised. So I am just checking it on the maps because okay, so this is very close to Mayapur actually, this Nabad Dweep, which makes sense because Mayapur is connected with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's the big ISKCON center. So basically I am now placing it with Mayapur. So whenever I plan my Mayapur trip, then definitely I need to visit this place as well, which is Nabad Dweep. Not only for the Vaishnav touch, but also for the strong Kali presence. So that brings the question, when was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? (1486). It's really mind-boggling. So the exact timeline of Krishnananda ji was not clear. Some say that maybe when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happened and that huge strong Vaishnavism spread here, that's when he would have happened, or some say he may have happened after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But basically he came at a time when there was a very strong Vaishnava front in that specific place, especially, which is Nabad Dweep. And so his whole family was Vaishnava, specifically his own brother, who was a very, very strict Vaishnava and a great devotee of Krishna. And so there is a story where there was a banana tree, and the banana has ripened. So this I have read from a Bengali translated story. So maybe there are a few, in the translation the edits might have happened. But basically there is a banana tree, and this very nice banana fruit has happened, and it has. So both Krishnananda and his brother decided, as soon as it gets ripe, I will offer it to my deity. So one wants to offer it to Kali and one wants to offer it to Gopal. As it happens, when the banana becomes ripe, Krishnananda is not there. So his brother takes the fruit and offers it to the Krishna. And Krishnananda, when he comes to house, he gets really angry, and so he goes into that temple to see that, what have you done, did you offer it? When he goes into that temple, he actually sees Maa Kaali herself is feeding that banana to the Gopal. Krishnananda Bhattacharya ji has basically seems to have played a really big role in spreading a huge wave of Kali worship all across West Bengal, and he has done that by simplifying Kali worship. Otherwise, initially the worship of Kali was more restricted to the more stricter sects like Agora and Tantra and all, and people basically would have to go through all the various initiations to really get into it, which is also said currently, right? Like for Maa Kaali and all which are the Ugra Devtas, in general, what worship we can do of them is quite limited. We are in general always, as per a lot of sampradayas, we are asked to go through the various initiations, and only under a proper guru and under a sampradaya we should be doing their sadhana. But of course, these basic like pujas and entering the temple, doing the basic worship in the temples and all is very much possible. And it is because of these people who have managed to bring a more socially friendly form of worship of all these Ugra Devtas. And in Maa Kaali's, this Krishnananda seems to have played a big role. Specifically, the Kali Puja that happens in West Bengal even today on Diwali. Apparently, that was started by Krishnananda. And the very interesting story that's given on Wikipedia, but I was not able to trace its source. Even though Wikipedia is supposed to contain all the information, which is it has to have those citations which I should be able to follow and trace it, but I have not been able to. What this little clip on Wikipedia says is that, and I'm going to build the story up because that little piece by itself is not so interesting, but what I think is that Krishnananda was probably very interested in making Kali worship available to the people, and probably he had a yearning. So he maybe, as a great devotee, he may have also requested to the Ma that how is it possible that you may be worshipped by the masses also. What is that paddhati or puja process, or what is the technique through which you may be worshipped by the masses? And towards that, Maa Kaali gave him some indications, and she basically said that you can make a form for me which can become popular, and that form you basically go out tomorrow morning, and the first woman you set your eyes on that you model my form. And what it says is, when he went out in the morning, he basically saw this a village woman applying cow dung patties on a wall. She was supported by her right foot on a rock in front of her, was dark skinned with long untied hair touching her knee, and suddenly she became conscious about the presence of another male around her, and she stuck her tongue out. Piece of content is trying to suggest that this form of Kali came out through this weird set of coincidences, but what could have possibly happened is that, and just note, I can't trace the source of this story, and there have been enough cases where a lot of nefarious intent people have made up a lot of stories to belittle the gods and all. But what could have happened is Krishnananda went out and saw this lady in this form, and that was the divine Leela of the mother, and she, because that's her form, she basically made another woman go into a similar form. So what would have happened is Krishnananda's eyes fell on this woman in similar form, but then finally Ma only gave him the exact form, because this form of Kali that has become extremely prevalent all across Bengal, it would be something that is approved by the Divine Mother. It is not a random occurrence that somebody randomly, through some random quirk, they just shaped something. It's not possible. So and also this specific thing, the fact that Maa Kaali sticks her tongue out, and then a lot of these social connotations of it being in shame and it being in embarrassment and all is all very crappy, to be honest. I don't agree with it at all. In this aspect, I really like this Praveen Radhakrishnan, who has a YouTube channel as well. He puts out a lot of point of views, and I find his take on a lot of the things very much better, because these things are so silly to say that Maa Kaali put her foot on her husband and so she showed her tongue out in shame. Like, are you dumb? What rubbish are you talking? I mean, have some sense, right? There's one thing to have some social situation, and then to like, it's just so silly to give such explanations for those forms of deities. And a deity who is as fierce and out of all bounds like Maa Kaali, to attribute something so silly to her is just not possible. So Praveen Radhakrishnan has a very interesting video. I don't even recall something he has spoken about in what bhav the mother will actually put her tongue out like that. What does it signify? That is really good. I myself have in my own understanding and experience, I have this very deep connection with Maa Kaali actually, which I have not spoken anything here. I am writing a book on it. So in the Mahakumbh actually I had a very deep experience, and it was sort of a revelation also, but there was a very specific and very strong experience of Maa Kaali in the Mahakumbh, and that sort of changed many things for me, and that's how the book is getting written. In that I'm talking a little bit about the whole connection and how that there's a very, very deep connection with her. And in a way it was inevitable that something like this was going to happen, because the whole Kal Bhairav connection that made itself felt about a year back. So after that strong presence of Bhairava that has been there in my life for so many years, it was inevitable for a Devi to come, and she's come. And what else can I say? Just that yes, this form of the mother with a tongue sticking out like that with a foot on Hara is just too powerful. So I think we should just not attribute any silly meanings to it. Rather, let's just try to experience that form within us and just allow it to be a little still, and with stillness let us allow that form to do whatever it needs to do in our system. I think that's a great approach. And with that I'll close this video. Hope you found it useful. More Kali talks later. Namaskaram. Since you watched so far, just letting you know that I have some premium content for members of this channel only. It is stuff that is too sensitive or specific and I am not comfortable sharing in public. So if you are interested, do check out the membership tabs for all the exclusive content that I have out there.